I introduced him to Jerry Lee Lewis. It was one of the highlights of my life. I was a reporter for Eyewitness News. I had interviewed Jerry Lee Lewis for ABC television, and he was one of John's heroes, and I told John that it was going to be on that night, and he watched it on the news, and he said, wow, Jerry Lee, I mean, this was the closest to Elvis. And Jerry Lee was performing at a local club in L.A. called the Roxy, and John said, do you think you could get me in? And I said, you know, I have a feeling I could fix that up. And I picked him up, and we went to the Roxy, and went upstairs through a back stairway, and there was Jerry Lee playing Great Balls of Fire and Good Golly Miss Molly, and pounding the keyboard with his feet, and this is one of the guys that John listened to on the BBC. You know, when he was a kid, this was one of the rock and roll icons, and there he was. We just sat up in the balcony, and again, I looked at his face, and he was looking at Jerry Lee the way a child would open a Christmas present, you know. And after the last song, we snuck downstairs and waited outside of the dressing room. And John was as nervous as a groupie about to meet their hero. And Jerry Lee walked out of the dressing room, and he said, son, I saw that thing you did with me on Eyewitness News, and I'm really pleased with the way you... And I said, thank you very much. I'd like to introduce you to John Lennon. John, this is Jerry Lee. And I looked over at John, and he wasn't there. And I looked down, and John was on his knees. Show you exactly how John was. John was on his knees like this, kissing Jerry Lee Lewis's boots. And Jerry Lee tapped him and said, now, son, that's not necessary. So that was how John met Jerry Lee. They would never see each other again. And on the way home, John just... his heart was a-thumping. John once said to me, you know, Elliot, we all have it for someone. It could be an actor, it could be a politician, it could be a writer. But for all of us, there is somebody who we would want to spend a moment with. In my life, it's been John and Yoko that people want to spend time with. Tonight was just sensational. It was a beautiful evening. It was just a... If I never did anything else for John Lennon, that was the one I was most proud of.